Leon!
Leon! Hey.
Claire, you made it.
Yeah. Have you
World-
seen a little girl around here?
Worlds collide.
Yeah, you just missed her. Who is she?
I don't know. But it's too dangerous for her to stay here alone. Leon, I'll go look for her. You go and find us a way out of here.
Of course. But before I forget, here's a radio. That way we can keep in touch if something comes up.
Thanks for not giving me this. Thanks for not giving this to me earlier.
I'll go look for her. You go and find us a way out of here.
Will Smith did tell us to look for survivors. I don't know what crack he's smoking. There's no survivors. So, remember that door I told you to keep in mind in the hallway next to the statue jewel puzzle? This is that door. Door's nailed shut. Doesn't look like I can pass through here. But at the bottom of the door, boom, there's a hole. Sherry squeezed through the hole. Got out into the hallway there. Fucking ran downstairs. She's just running around this fucking zombie-filled police station like a stupid bitch. Oh, there's no message for this side. Oh man, a lot of things. I want to finish what I was talking about, but for, like, I think this is significant. In Resident Evil 1, I was starting to talk about that. Jesus Christ, I always have this weird problem where I keep, like, jumping tracks on the fucking train of thought. Like, Resident Evil 1, the entire series has always had really good female character and male character. You can choose at the beginning of the game. Do you want to play as Chris or do you want to play as Jill? Do you want to play as the male character or do you want to play as the female character from the very first game? And most people played as Jill because she was easier. And she had the lockpick and more inventory space. Like, she was easy mode, kinda, which was actually pretty funny. But, again, like, all these fucking people, you know, like, for some reason, my gender... My female main character is such a stupid talking point nowadays. Boom, Resident Evil from the very first game. Female character or male character. But the thing about... Oh, it looks like a vent, sorta. The thing was, it was sort of like you were picking an alternate universe, where you could either have Chris running around the mansion, solving all the puzzles and whatnot, and fighting all the bosses, or you had Jill running around the mansion, solving all the puzzles, beating all the bosses and whatnot. It wasn't they were both running around doing stuff. You picked which one was going through the nightmare of the Spencer estate at the very beginning. And I feel like, to a degree, both the fans and the creative team were like, that's a bit of a missed opportunity. Isn't it? Doesn't it feel like a little bit of a missed opportunity to not have it so it's where Jill and Chris are both running around the mansion? And you pick which one you're playing as going down whichever path? And that was the big... Like, I don't want to say innovation, but that was a big, like, hey, how about we do that for Resident Evil 2? Where you pick which one you want to play as, and then the one you do not pick is going through their own path. Listen to that echo effect. That's great sound design. And then the one you do not pick goes through a completely different path throughout the game. And you actually run into them and see them doing their stuff at set intervals throughout the story. Like, what a cool little factor, right? Come on. I think there's a way to pick. Yeah, it's L1. And then you run into them at intervals throughout the game. Like, doesn't that feel like... I don't want to say it's one of those things where it's like they wanted to do that but couldn't, or like it just isn't something that came to mind, but after the fact they're like, oh, that would have been something we could have... that would have been interesting to consider. So when they started doing the sequel, they're like, hey, let's have that be a system. Ugh, starting to run low. Oh, Jesus fuck. Can't believe that got me. Should've noticed the bloodstains. That's just, zombies are kind of starting to get phased out as the main... Oh, I forgot to lower the fucking ladder. Zombies are sort of starting to get phased out as the main enemy we're dealing with throughout the game anyway. Let's go ahead and do this now, since we're not going back to that hallway ever again after this. Secretary's Diary. So the slow discovery of the secretary realizing she's gonna get fucking murked. I think my boss is gonna kill me. Why would you keep all of these rare art collector items in the fucking police station? Stupid asshole. Like, this guy's just stupid evil. Anyway. So, like, in Resident Evil 1, it was one disc, and you were picking which character you wanted to play as right at the very beginning. And they were just going through the exact same game, but it's just whether or not you're playing as Jill or Chris. Then Resident Evil 2 comes out, and you're picking whether you want to play as the female character or the male character, and it came on 2 discs. And disc 1 was the male character, and disc 2 was the female character. And which disc you put in decided, okay, you're playing as the female character or you're playing as the male character. And then the cool thing was, after you beat one character's story, that's where Claire A on Leon B comes from, is now you gotta go through it with the other character, put the other disc in, and see the story from their perspective. What was Leon doing while you were running around trying to find Sherry? Like, how did he get to the police station? All that. Put disc 1 in instead and play as him. And that actually says a lot about all of the extra data that's on these discs, too, because, again, Resident Evil 1, everything was just on one disc. Resident Evil 2 had to be split up into 2 discs. I think probably because there was so much extra dialogue. Like, back then, and even still today, like, audio files took up, by far, the most fucking space on your fucking cartridge or disc. So I think since each cutscene has, like, 4 to 8 variations, depending on whether you're doing Leon A, Claire B, or Claire A, Leon B. And, like, it actually gets really complicated. Like, if you flowchart it out, there's a lot of different cutscenes and a lot of different line reads. So I feel like most of the reason they had to split it up into 2 discs was because of how much differences in the voice performances that got split up in between each disc. Okay, all of the voice acting for all of Claire's cutscenes gets put on this disc. All of the voice acting for all of the cutscenes in Leon's campaign, whether it's Leon A or Leon B, put them on this disc, and that would save so much more space. I imagine that was the reason they decided to split it up onto 2 discs. But then the N64 version comes out, and it fits the entire game on one cartridge. One N64 cartridge has Leon A, Claire B, Claire A, Leon B on it. It has both of the characters with all of their voice acting. And holy shit, an N64 game having voice acting and shit on there. That's nuts. I don't think I need these quite yet. I believe they're behind a locked door. Like, I'm gonna get lost not quite knowing where to go and what to do in this game. Way more! It's not even a contest compared to Remake. I kind of get Remake on the back of my hand now, but RE2 very much less so, so I will be kind of getting lost from time to time. Let's do a safety save in this safe room. Again. You know, I don't think I'm gonna die or anything, but just for the sake of retaining our progress. So that was a huge deal. I don't know how they did that. I don't know how Nintendo fit 2 discs worth of voice acting and content all on one N64 cartridge. That's black magic to me. I don't think you could do that today, right? I mean, sure, all the voice files were like much lower quality, but it was still all of the voice acting on an N64 game. So that was impressive for the time. You once again stepped into the world of survival horror. Good luck. I think there's a good couple messages of that type. I always forget to dump my fucking ink ribbon. That's the one downside of resource-based save management, is you load your game and you're holding the fucking ink ribbon and it's like, oh, gotta remember to dump it. I think there's like a dozen. I have no idea. There's a good couple of little load your game messages depending on where you are in the game that I never see because, like, by this point I'm proficient enough that I can basically get through the game with a minimum of saving. You know, these games aren't actually very long. They can be easily speed run through in like a couple of hours. Like, it's not difficult to do so. So it's cool that like they managed to like do some black magic to fit 2 PS1 discs onto, I think, get off me. I think, yes. Sweet. 2 PS1 discs onto one N64 cartridge. Wow, really? From a fucking crow? That's embarrassing. Crows are like the stupidest fucking enemies in the entire goddamn franchise. And I feel like a lot of complaints, I guess you could say, about old games like this is based on nostalgia and not actually first-hand experience. Because again, I didn't play this game until I was an adult. I didn't play Final Fantasy VII until I was 18, and they still hold up. Like, all of these scary. So scary. All of these contrarians going, oh, Final Fantasy, like, you're just saying that to be a contrarian asshole. I played it fresh and new in fucking, like, on the PS3 here, as an adult. How did the helicopter crash? Oh shit, right? And it held up for me. There were a lot of moments in that game that, like, actually, like the Eris getting stabbed scene. I knew, like, it's impossible to not know about that scene, but because everyone always talks about Eris getting stabbed, but no one ever talks about how before that scene, you're playing as Cloud getting mind-controlled, and he is shambling up there to stab her himself. So when that happened, I didn't know what was gonna happen, so I was like, oh shit, son. Because no one ever talks about that. So when the moment finally came, I was surprised, because people only talk about that one specific moment. They don't talk about the context around it. I'm not even going to pick up this fucking crossbow, because it's so pointless. Like, the crossbow is the stupidest weapon. I'm not even going to pick it up. I'm not even going to use it. I'm not going to pick up this ink ribbon either. In fact, screw this whole safe room. I'm going out this door, and I'm never looking back. Oh, shit! The zombies are in the loading screen! How did they do that? That's crazy! Like, never before, and like, that is the upside of having loading screen doors like that. I feel like the entire first game... Oh, shit. Oh, what the fuck? How did I not get hit? How did I not get grabbed? I feel like the entire first game's, like, loading screen door convention was leading up to that moment where the zombies shamble out of the loading screen. That is some crazy shit right there. Luckily, we never have to go back down to that area again and again. crossbow sucks, so never even gonna pick that up. I'm not even gonna fucking touch it. Get that shit away from me. I like how the timeline of putting out the helicopter fire here is just slowly but surely gonna not make any goddamn sense. But yeah, that's all I mean. Like, it's funny thinking to myself about how I consider these games, the Resident Evil series, to be somewhat, like, kind of something that I have a connection to, even though, really, when you actually think about it, I didn't play these games as a kid. Like I didn't play them until I was an adult, so it's, once again, the most pathetic idiot on the face of the planet getting killed by crows. Because usually when people say that, like, it's a series that they have a childhood connection to. Oh no, who was that screaming? Oh, can't get in. There's no choice but to take out the wall. That is the logical conclusion to take from this situation. But, again, like, in a way... Ah, shit. I need the fucking... Why would you put an ink ribbon here? I need the fucking red jewels. Hold on. Let me scour the area first. There we go. What a conspicuous shot of the roof there. I wonder what will happen. Let me go get the red jewels real quick. Come back here. I do sort of have, like, a childhood connection to this game, but not from actually playing it, that's all. And again, and hey, speaking of childhood connections, and having just come off of finishing the Sonic series, I feel like that's a good opportunity to talk about, like, the voice acting. Because, as I might have mentioned, like, a funny little detail, we're not going to need this until way later. What does the pink heart need? No, that's a diamond, right? Yeah. Let's just dump this, and then boom, boom. I might have mentioned that, like, in the modern Sonic games, Sonic's voiced by Roger Craig Smith, and for a couple games there, Roger Craig Smith also voiced Chris Redfield from the Resident Evil games. He voiced them for, like, 5 Revelations and 6, I think. Actually, a small amount of games, because that's the thing is, the Resident Evil games never really actually have never actually had a consistent, like, franchise-long voice acting cast. Which is why fucking Matthew Mercier and Claire's voice actress, Mercer, being like, oh, we're not coming back for Remake 2 because the performance matters. That fucking dumb-ass voice actor strike that's so fucking stupid. Oh, I thought, maybe that only happens in Leon's game. That's so fucking stupid. But, like, that's why that thing where they're like, yeah, we're not gonna do Remake 2 because voice actor solidarity was so fucking dumb, because it's like, dude, Resident Evil is not the series to die on the hill for. Like, of all the franchises in all of video games, you're trying to act like Resident Evil is the one where, like, yeah, we're gonna take a stand on this voice acting issue? Like, what are you fucking talking about? The Resident Evil games have never had a consistent voice acting cast. Like, what crack are you fucking smoking? No one is going, oh, I hope they get the original PlayStation era fucking voice actors to come back for Remake 2. They didn't do that for Remake 1. Why would they do it for Remake 2? No one was asking for that, no one's expecting it, and it would have been stupid because in the entire franchise, they've never had consistent voice acting. I mean, in the original PlayStation 1 game, we don't even fucking know who voice acted all of the characters in that game. We have no idea who the voice actors even are. Because they were credited on a first-name basis, and they probably just grabbed fucking English-speaking people who are in, like, English-speaking people living in Japan and pulled them into the studio. Because they didn't even want to have a story in that game. And they credit them on a first-name basis. We have no earthly idea who the fuck did the voice acting for the original Resident Evil. Hilariously enough. So not only do we not know who they are, but they sure as fuck didn't get those voice actors to come back to voice the characters again in later games. Yes. And was that a mistake? Because I don't usually actually use that. No bullets? No. Okay, here's the moment that I was thinking of earlier. Oh no, scary! I jumped through the window. Too bad I never have to come back into this room. Just walk out. There are so many moments like that where, scary electric. Let's leave the room. No one cares. There's like so many moments like that in this fucking game that's actually really funny. So, like, from the very first game, you don't have this fucking expectation of voice acting consistency. Then you get to the second game, and to be fair, Claire's voice actor did actually stick with the series for a while there, but that's only because until you realize, wait, Claire hasn't been in that many fucking games. Like, she's like, you think of it in terms of she's been voicing Claire for 20 years. But then you realize, no, there have only been 3 games where Claire has been in them. She voiced her in this game, the original game, and then she voiced Claire in Code Veronica. We'll pull this out later. And then she voiced Claire for that terrible CG movie. She voiced Claire 3 times, and she thinks like she owns the character or something. She thinks like, oh, you can't have Claire without this voice actor who played her in the PS2 game here. Yes, you can. Like, A, Resident Evil has never been consistent voice acting. B, like, you think it's just this one instance where this one voice actor voiced this character over a 20-year period. No, she just voiced 3 games. And in the last game that Claire was in, Resident Evil Revelations 2, wasn't voiced by the PS2, this chick who's voicing her in this game. So I don't know why the voice actor who played her in this game is going, I'm not gonna play her for Remake 2 because voice actor solidarity. Like, bitch, you didn't play Claire in Resident Evil Revelations 2. Like, if anything, if I expected voice actor consistency, I would expect the voice actor who played Claire in Resident Evil Revelations 2 to play Claire for Remake 2. You know? Like, why would they go back all the way to the person who played her in the PS2 game? You know? That's just stupid. Oh shit. Pissy off. And Leon, you have Matthew Mercer going, I'm not gonna play Leon in Remake 2. Motherfucker, you didn't play Leon. Like, that was what bothered me about those fucking headlines being like, the original voice actors aren't gonna play the characters in Remake 2. Matthew Mercer didn't play Leon in the original PS2 game. Some other guy named Matthew did, funnily enough. But, like, Leon was played by some fucking guy in this game, and then he never showed up again. Like, Leon in Resident Evil 4 was voiced by a completely different person. Leon in those terrible CG movies was voiced by a completely different person. Leon, and then they brought Matthew Mercer in and had him voice Leon for Resident Evil 6. And that's it. That's the only game that Leon's been in that Matthew Mercer voiced Leon in. So now he thinks, now I own Leon? Like, oh, I'm not gonna show up and voice him in Remake 2. Like, why would you? Fucking Leon in Resident Evil 6, for crying out loud. You should not be... No one who had anything to do with Resident Evil 6 should be allowed to touch Resident Evil anymore ever again. So again, here's Will Smith, who... What is this black magic? How did they do that? How did they change the texture? What the fuck? Sorry, buddy. How did they have the fucking PS1 model change like that? That's crazy. That's nuts. They changed it right in front of her. That's a technical feast for the eyes right there. Yeah, good job crawling into this office after locking the door behind us and then not shooting yourself. You fucking asshole. Like, yeah, no shit, I'm gonna have to kill your zombified ass. You didn't shoot yourself in the head, prick. So this is like where the cops all made their last stand, apparently. Didn't work out. And it's also where they were gonna have Leon's welcome party, which is dumb. Like, police stations don't do that. New people get assigned to police departments all the time, straight out of the academy. Like, why would... Look, there's party hats. The only thing that's missing here is like a sign hanging up. Look, on the side of that desk, welcome Leon. Was this gonna be his desk? That's so weird. That they're like, yeah, welcome Leon. Like, it's your first day on the fucking job. Fucking Judy Hops. Anyway. Then, in Resident Evil, Resident Evil 3, oh hey look, Jill is being played by a different voice actor from the person who voiced her in Resident Evil 1. Because no shit. And then in Code Veronica, we had this chick, and then different person voicing Chris from the person who voiced him in Resident Evil 1. Although that game was a big deal because it was like, hey look, the Redfield, that's a weird name when you say it too many times. The Redfield siblings are together in one game, and you play as both of them, which goes back to that discussion about how, like, again, if you want to talk about franchises that have always had, like, female characters that you can play as in video games, Resident Evil games from the very beginning, Jill you can play as in Resident Evil 1, Claire you can play as in Resident Evil 2, Jill is the main character of Resident Evil 3, and Carlos is just like the sidekick. And then Code Veronica, you start playing as Claire, and then like during a certain part of the story, it switches over to Chris, and then switches back and forth for a while. Why did I take the long way around? Why am I so fucking stupid? And then Resident Evil 4, you're just playing as Leon, but Leon was played by a different voice actor. He wasn't played by the guy who played him in this game. Oh, my voice actor solidarity. And then, like, Resident Evil 5, that era of Resident Evil was the only time you had a somewhat consistent voice actor. Oh, what's this? What's this fucking John Carpenter? Oh shit, G! Suffer like G did? Anyway. Resident Evil 5 was the era where we actually did have some consistency to the voice acting, because that was when Roger Craig Smith started voicing Chris. Again, Sonic. Chris. Good job, Roger Craig Smith. You're doing a good job. Where am I going next? Gotta blow up the helicopter, that's right. Probably faster up this way, I'm not sure though. And then again, Resident Evil 5, you play it as Chris and Sheva, because co-op, which was terrible, but playing as a male character and a female character, I love how that's such a thing with the franchise. I love how the thing with the franchise is you switch back and forth. You can choose whether to play as a male character or a female character, again, from the very beginning. Chris and Sheva, and then Resident Evil 6, which was terrible. Oh, and Resident Evil Revelations. Oh, like, that's not even taken into account Remake. Remake, different voice actors. The voice actors who voice Chris, Jill, and Wesker in Resident Evil Remake are not the voice actors who voiced them in 5 and 6 and all the in Revelations and all the continuing games after that. So, like, DC Douglas was voiced Wesker for 5 and Umbrella Chronicles, and that's it. Roger Craig Smith voiced Chris for 5, Revelations, 6, and I think Umbrella Chronicles, and that's it. Jill's voice actress, voiced Jill for 5, Revelations, and that's it. So, and then, again, you get to Revelations 2, Claire is in it, and she's voiced by a different voice actor. The chick who's like, I'm not gonna come back to voice Claire in Remake 2. You didn't voice her in Revelations 2. So again, like, of all of the franchises to try and have this retarded ooh-rah-rah voice actor consistency, the quote-unquote original voice actors aren't coming back for the new game because voice actors strike. Of all of the franchises to do that with, Resident Evil is the wrong one. I mean, I know Resident Evil is famous for its voice acting, but not for the reasons these idiots seem to think it is.